Hey guys, so we're going to quickly go over how to make your 3D prints stronger by just orienting them properly in Cura or whatever slicing program you're using. So let me just jump over to the program. Now, first thing is I'll make a quick file. This isn't part of it. You don't need to worry about this if you've already got a file. This is purely just to have something to play with. So we're going to use Fusion 360, make a quick square, put another little square on top of that, and I'm just going to chuck a circle in the middle of that square somewhere. Now, this doesn't really matter where it goes. Done. And we're just going to make that a 3D shape, so we're going to extrude it. You can just press E, and we'll make it a centimeter. Cool, so say this is some sort of bracket. I don't know, you're screwing this bottom plate into something, and then something's hooking onto this hole and pulling it this way, or pulling it up or down, or whatever we're going to do. So let's just say this. There you go, make a 3D print, untick the Cura option, that never really seems to work for me. And then we've got a little, little file there. So now we have Cura here. And if we just chuck that over there. So, orienting your prints, alright, to make sure that they are nice and strong. Now, PLA isn't a hugely strong material, but it is fairly strong, especially if you orient them properly. Here's something I've designed, like it's got a fair, give it a good tug, and as long as you're, which is what we'll talk about, as long as you're against your layer lines, so say I'm pulling downwards, so the force is going down, my layer lines are going this way, they're actually resistive, like it's not, that's going to take a fair bit of force to break that little leg off. It's the same sort of concept, so it's basic force analysis. So I'm just going to see if I can make this a preview, player view, and maybe I need to slice it first. Actually, I'm going to duplicate this so we can have different orientations. So it's all about understanding where your layer lines are going to be. So your layer lines are obviously going to be going from the base up, as you probably know if you've 3D printed before. We'll do one of our prints like that. One of our prints, I'll make it the other way around. There we go, like that. One of them I'll do this way. And the other one, I'm just trying to think if there's any other directions really that matters. Not really. That'll probably do. Might just delete the other one. If we slice this, the reason I'm slicing is just to show you the layer lines. Go up the screen a little bit. So if we go preview, layer view. So it's kind of hard to see, but there we go. You can see the layer lines going like this, like this, like this. So if we're trying to resist, say this piece is, like I said, maybe you got 4 screw holes, this is getting screwed on, and then something's clipping onto this little piece, and it's pulling it. So maybe you're attaching a rope or string or something, and it's pulling it that way. So if we, I wonder if it's worth making this so I can draw on it. So we have this little guy, and so the force is going to be going that way. So it's pulling on that hole. For this one, it's same thing that way, and for this one up here, it's going straight up. This is what I mean by basic force analysis, sort of just understanding which way the force is going to be pulling. So the weakest one of these orientations, so it's exactly the same model, it's just how we're rotating it inside Cura. The weakest one is actually going to be this one over here, the one that's upright. This one. That's going to be the worst. And the reason that is if we look over here, we've got our layer lines. Our layer lines are like this. If the force is pulling upwards, the weakness in 3D prints, aside from the fact that PLA isn't the strongest material, just inherently, the weakness in the actual 3D prints are these layer lines. They will delineate, it's called, so the layer lines will separate. I mean, this was done in vase mode. If I sort of just pull this, the layer lines will just delineate. Like, I'm not putting barely any strength in that. Whereas if I pull it this way, it takes a lot more strength. Like, I'm pulling as hard as I can. That's not breaking. So it's all. That's what I mean. This is just PLA. It's one layer. It's vase mode. The weakest print you could probably print on a 3D printer. And just purely by which way I was applying the force was showing how strong it was. So this one would be the absolute worst, the first one here, because the force is pulling straight up, and it's just going to pull those layer lines apart. And that's about it. These two would both be pretty strong. I would choose this one here most likely more. Because the layer lines are going this way, they're totally on a different axis. But this is pulling this way, and the layer lines are going this way. So they're totally not going to interact with each other. The reason I'd probably choose this one over this one is this one you've still got layer lines, so it's pulling this way, and you have a potential here. So you have these layers stacking, and if you apply force this way, which is what's happening with this middle one, you might slip. These layer lines might slip out and pull. They're not delineating and pulling off, but they still might slip. So I would definitely choose this one, and this one also has the added benefit of not having any supports. So to print this whole, I mean, you could probably get away with printing it without supports, but to print this underneath piece, this one wouldn't require any supports at all. So yeah, that's literally it. So we wouldn't use this one. We definitely wouldn't use that one. This would be our final piece that would be left. You would print that, and it would hold fairly well. I mean, it's still PLA, it's still a fairly brittle material, but if you were to print this in PETG or something even stronger, that would be a really strong piece. So yeah, basic layer lines, you don't even need to know any modeling techniques, you don't even need to know how to use CAD programs or Fusion or anything like that. Just by simply rotating it, you've got a stronger print. So there we go, guys, that's it. All just by simply rotating a print on the print bed, you can get a much stronger piece and a much better result. So yeah, please hit me up with a like or a subscribe if you don't mind, and please give me any comments related to this video. If anything could have been done better, if you have any other tips of strengthening your prints, let me know. Cheers.